Max, did you get some mustache wax?
No, it's naturally like that. They want it to be that way today.
At least you shaved up a little bit, her. You're looking a little less.
Yeah, I have some on the side.
I mean,
But
is it
it's kind of good. Like, I kind of like my face. Like, at the start, I was doing it kind of as a joke, just to piss people off.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, right now, I kind of dig it. Like, I'm not gonna cut that away.
Okay. I mean, everybody has their likes. But I mean, is it cold enough there to wear the hoodie?
Not really. I mean, it was like 25 degrees yesterday. I was wearing 2 hoodies, but then the sun was too hot, so I had to take the other one off.
All right, man. You have issues. You have issues. You know what, dude? We got a podcast. We got some questions to answer. We got to do all that stuff. But before we do that, we're gonna drop that intro, and then we're gonna get into.
Nitro is the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this money-grabbing book racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. Yeah.
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
Here we go. $100 right here, $100 throw. Oh no! I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro's the glory, but Ebuggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 191 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and to my left is my vice host.
Vice host. We got
Vice
Vice Champion
host.
Earlier this week. Now got Vice host.
Yes, Max is the vice host, and JQ is the vice host. So joining us this week is Army Max, because he's all in Army mode.
Yeah.
You know, he's worn that hat 2 podcasts in a row. So
Yeah.
What's up, Max?
I'm doing good. I went to the track yesterday with Joseph. He had quite a bad day.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, first he forgot his batteries. Then I had to lend him one. Then he hit a rock like at the back straight. So his pipe bent. It was like normally you see the pipe, it's like U-shaped like this. His was like to the inside. So yeah, it came off and everything. Then he was pissed and put on a new pipe, and then his throttle servo broke down. So
He's just not having a good day at the track.
No.
I actually recorded.
Then he just
with
went
him.
home after that. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't seem pissy at first.
Yeah, and he
talked to
you know
him.
what? Actually, he tried my car, went really freaking fast, like a second faster than with his own car, pretty much. And then he said, then he said, "Oh, it's not that good. That you like the rear end is not working good. Like mine's better." And then after that, he just left.
He needed to find something to make him feel good as he went home after having such a disastrous day. This guy is an engineer and like designed his own car, but look at all the issues that he has, guys. It's just like his life.
Yeah,
But I did have him on this week.
Joseph is like Forrest Gump. That's like between me and him. That's like our inside joke that he's Forrest Gump.
Well, I did try to plant in this podcast the seed of whoever wins this nationals gets to run RCGP, but he says you're finished from RCGP. So just beat him. Just beat him. And
And by the way, people commenting Joseph is vice champion. He's not even vice champion of Finland. He's vice champion of Finland.
Oh, he was
third.
so triggered about that. We talk about that in the JQ Racing Rant. he gets triggered, then I get triggered because I ask him what's up with the shitty coverage coming out of Europe, and he has no answers for me. But yeah, Joseph is the guest this week. He's going to give us an Ebuggy Euros rundown, which is pretty good. He goes pretty in depth, and then of course he gets on his soapbox about the vice champion that he was in. I like it when Joseph gets passionate like that because he gets all excited, but then once we started talking about it, he held it in. We talked about the race for such a long time, and then he's like, "No, can we rant? And so he was waiting, and then he kind of livened up. And then I actually had a explicit F-bomb filled rant as well, because he was not getting as aggressive as I thought as I wanted him to. But anyway, Max, that's all later on in this podcast. So we have a couple of things going on this podcast. You guys got to listen. We got 2 giveaways related to this podcast of a new sponsor. We're going to talk about that new sponsor here in a minute. But before we get to that part, I'd like to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad around the world. We cannot do it without you guys. You guys are downloading this. More people are going to the YouTube. Obviously, we're trying to push a little bit more people to the YouTube because we want to grow this. But the subs are going up. The downloads are about equal on both sides. Still, people are listening to this on the audio side of things. I still think to get the full effect of this, you kind of have to watch it as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
So if you haven't signed up if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, go there, leave us a sub, notification, and you can win something if you do that today, actually, and comment on this. So with that said, thank you for all the love, but keep doing it, guys. Leaving reviews, liking, sharing, downloading, doing all that stuff. It helps us. We need to get this out into the algorithms and all that good stuff. Shout out to the patrons of the podcast. You got early release of JQ's rant and my rant this week. We can't do it without you guys. Max, we have to do a patron-only podcast next week. So put that on your calendar. We will do that next week. We can't do it without you guys either. You help me pay for some RC stuff. You help pay for these boats, and I'm doing some videos with that. So I greatly appreciate that. I try to use the Patreon money. I'm going to be using the Patreon money to further grow my YouTube channel and get product and do stuff. And I'm getting into all that now. So thank you guys for the patrons. I greatly appreciate that. I've got some giveaways coming up for you guys as well. We got a few cool things that I'm going to do a giveaway there on the Patreon only side of things. We have our 200th episode coming up too, Max. Only 9 away, so we might do something big there. So
we have to 200.
Yeah. We might have to do a live and do a whole bunch of stuff. Even Barry, JQ wants to do it. Also, to our sponsors,
maybe Barry will be.
The problem with Barry is he's so far behind you guys, and he's at work. So
we need to record on the weekend.
Yes, but weekends of people are racing, so it's not as good.
Yeah, true.
Sponsors, man, we can't do without these sponsors. We just have a new one come on. I'm pretty happy about that. But shout out to Invisible Speed, TZO 200 Tires, High Tech RCD, TNR Fuels, Mayako, Beach RC, Tekno RC, Lugs Racing Tires, JQSM, G-Spec RC Tuning for all your RC cabling needs, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic for all of your Traction Tonic needs, Racecraft USA, they got command modules and mini modules in stock, so go grab yourself one. You can use the promo code NNRC Squad and save 10%. Also, we have a promo code for Papa Willie's. Shout out to Clinic RC. I'm about to get some stuff from him myself. He's got a cool drift drain. I'm going to get his droop gauge, and I'm going to get an air filter for my Mayako because I'm going to be building that next. RCGP, that's coming up soon as well. House of RC. Shout out to David Ronafalk and the DR Race Shop. I know it's got a different name now. And JTP RC and my good friend RC Kevin. Shout out to all those guys. We greatly appreciate your support. So, Max, we have a new sponsor. And it's a battery sponsor. So, yeah, I am so happy to have them on. I met the guy. He is the distributor of these batteries in America. They are Sun Padal. Max made me say that 20 times because I want to say Sunda Padal or something like Sunda Padal. That's what I want to say, Sunda Padal, but it's Sun Padal. So you've seen Sun Padal batteries on the top of many podiums. For everyone who doesn't know Sun Padal, it's a private label brand for one of the largest RC LiPo producers in China. The cells in your current packs have probably been made by Sun Padal. Sun Pedal has 4S, 2S, and 1S batteries for your off-road and on-road racing needs. The place to buy Sun Pedal batteries is not Amazon. Sun Pedal race batteries are available in the USA and Canada at the shop.sunpedalusa.com website. Dealer inquiries are welcome. So we are happy to have Sun Pedal on. The owner is coming on to help us do some he has a podcast too, but mostly on road. And he hit me up, and I'm super happy to know him. He really liked our last podcast we did. And he said, look, I got some product to give away. I want you to give them away. So we're going to give away 2 batteries today. You have a chance to win 2 batteries today, so you got to listen to this whole podcast. So the first easy way to win it is we're going to give away one of their 2S battery shorty packs. So I think we have the Sun Pedal 7.4 54 mAh 28C to /60C LiPo battery. We're going to give away one of these 2S batteries, and it's pretty simple. The first person to comment the 3 world champions that run Sun Pedal batteries and what disciplines they have world champ, maybe not all, but what disciplines they have, because some of them have multiple world championships. What disciplines they have world championships in the comments of this podcast, you will win a 2S battery. If you're in the USA and Canada, by the way, because if you're in Europe, they have a different distributor, so you can't send over there. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people don't like that, but until I get some sponsors over in Europe, this is how it works. So I need to get some sponsors in Europe that can do this type of stuff. So thank you to Sun Pedal for coming on. You can win a 7.4 shorty pack, 2S shorty pack, and all you got to do is comment on this, sir, and then I'll send you a message. And I get your address. And you got to be American, or you have to have a U.S. mailing address. That's pretty simple.
Subscribe to the channel and like the podcast.
Yes, subscribe if you haven't, like, all that stuff. And when you do win, you let everybody know. So we're going to give away a 4S battery later on in this podcast. I'm not telling you when. So if you listen to this on the audio side of things, you're going to want to go, you might want to participate in the YouTube side of things. Now, the next one is not going to be YouTube. It's going to be YouTube, but it's going to be Facebook combined. So just letting you guys know. So you can win a 2S shorty pack if you let me know who the 3 world champions are and what disciplines they have championships in. Thank you, Sun Pedal batteries. Check them out at the shop.sunpedalusa website, and also check them out on Facebook. All right, Max, enough about that. Hey, real quick. Did you see A3 of the Ebuggy Euros?
No, but
it was really good.
With Joseph and a few other people.
It was really good. Canas and Figueiredo had a big battle. And Bruno at some point.
Yeah, but Bruno took out Figueiredo.
Yes, he did. And then it was a lot of taking out. Like right at the beginning, it was Kilek and Barton.
For some reason, I don't know why this is always Bruno, but he took a lot of people out, I heard.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna talk about that. You got Joseph on. He's put up all the all the mains. A3 is the best one. Go check it out on JQ Racing TV. Max, I think we should just go right into our Beach RC questions. What do you think? Let's get on to some Beach RC bench racing questions. You haven't done this for a while, so let's get cracking.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Yes, and thank you to Beach RC and Brent Densford for all his continued support of the NNRC. You guys, if you can please help us out by using our affiliate link in the written description of this podcast It helps us get a little slice. It also helps the podcast, period. So we have an affiliate link. If you can use it, please use it. Beach RC is a great hobby shop, real brick and mortar hobby shop. Hitting it like track, go into races. So Brent puts a lot of money back into the RC racing community. So please go support him. And if you can use our affiliate link, it helps us a lot. Or even if you don't use our affiliate link, just say, hey, man, I heard about you on the podcast. So thank you to Beach RC. So we have some questions this week. Remember, everybody, send us your bench racing questions. We said we collect questions from Facebook, our Instagram, if you aren't following us on Instagram, and also our Discord. We have a Discord channel, which is you've been kind of quiet in there, Max, but you've been busy. But there are some good discussions in there, and we always post up questions, and it's some good discussions going on there. So first up is our good friend from Sweden and large-scale specialist, Connie Svensson, the owner of House of RC. He wants to know, reading all the race reports from the Ebuggy Euros, it sounds like everyone was taken out in the start. But that kind of course cannot be true, but we do not have the drama or controversy to report from that. Did we have any 50-50 incidents? Well, Connie, I say you go watch A3 and A1 that JQ posted, and then JQ talks a little bit about it in our recap coming up after this. So you can do it there. All right, next we have a few questions from a previous Q&A that I missed. So I just wanted to go over these, and this is to follow on from my good friend, Sean Alcorn. What's up, Tiny? How you doing? He wants to know, rough driving, how should it be called and enforced? He says, I know we had some rough driving in my truck A at Silver State. He called a few. One guy even got spoken to after the race. He took second, was warned a few times during the race. So, Max, real quick, how should we enforce rough driving?
Yes, so in my opinion, with lower level racing, where there aren't always cameras involved or camera crews, then it's, if you see it, you call it stop and go or drive through, and that's it. And in my opinion, the best way to do it is waiting doesn't help. So if you take someone out, he's on his roof, then you get a stop and go or drive through, no matter what, even though you wait or something.
So you don't like the waiting thing at all? You think people should just go and just get called?
I like the waiting thing. If you clip someone, he gets squirmy, and then you wait. Or you clip someone, he rolls over back on his wheels, and you wait. I'm fine with that. But I don't like it that you clip someone, he's on his roof, waiting for a marshal, and you wait. I don't think that's, like, you should get a penalty for doing that. And that's why I think if the other car is on his roof and the RD sees it, he calls it drive-through. If it's like a blatant takeout, then a stop and go.
Okay.
So that's my take on it. And if then we go to something like DNC or PNB or some of these big races where they are like camera crews, different cameras everywhere, and then the RD has the option to go like look at the video after the incident.
Got you.
But
I actually would agree with that part.
I think penalties after the race, I'm not that fine with, unless it's like last lap incident and then you give a penalty after the race.
Okay. I would have to agree there. I think I've said this many times. I think you can nip this in the butt by just giving out heavy penalties right from the start of a race.
Yes, exactly. That's the thing, like, because a lot of people do this, like they take someone out and wait and then they don't get penalties. And then everyone gets in the mood of like, oh, no one's getting penalties. So people start taking everyone out even more. But when there's like, you touch someone, you instantly get a warning, or you touch someone, he falls, like flips over, and you instantly get a stop and go. That's when you start to focus much more closely on how you drive around the cars in front of you. And rough driving is fine, but it needs to be fair and rough.
Yeah, I would agree there. All right. These questions are from the SoCal Facebook group. Thank you for the love from the SoCal guys. Steven Strom. So if a sportsman races constantly on the podium, shouldn't they be bumped? If they can turn laps close to expert running for much slower cars, shouldn't they be bumped? I've been thinking about this for a while. I think you should race faster people so you can get faster. But I'm kind of like, if you want to do sportsman, I mean, isn't this what the classes are for? I mean, I don't know. I mean, just because you win sportsman doesn't mean you're going to go out there and be competitive with the intermediate guys. It's a hard question, man. I don't know really the answer to this, but you go ahead, Max.
So, okay, I have two answers. Number one is you eliminate the sportsman to expert level. You retain the pro level. So you have pro and then non-pro. And that's it. That's you.
Okay, well, that's not going to happen.
Okay, yes, exactly. That's why I said that first. So that's we've over that. Now the second solution would be, because right now the reason why this bump up thing doesn't work is we don't have a league or a sort of a contained sort of following of these racers. So what I think would solve this is like each year Roar or some sort of regional organization sort of point systems people. So you're, for example, in like Southern California, there's like JBRL, and there's a lot of these sort of race series or races where a lot of these people go to, and they get sort of a rating. So someone puts into Excel the results, and then they get a rating. This is what they do at UK. So in UK, you have F1, F2, F3, F4. And they race just one class, but to get to the nationals, you have to be at least F4 level or whatever it is. So because there's oftentimes too many entries, so not everyone gets in. So these levels indicate sort of what level you are and can you attend these races and regionals. But they have that because they have a national series. So in America, what should be done, because America is really big as well, they should have a regional ranking. It could be very simple.
Live RC could do it.
Live RC could do it because they have all the results. Top 25 RC could partner it. So now it's like RC rankings by top 25 RC. And you could use even their system, but then just use sort of regional results to base around that. And that way, if someone's level, let's say tier 2, so second best tier, now he can't attend sportsman anymore, you know.
So I like that idea because I actually was a part of it when I went to England, and the guy goes, "Hey, so out of what are you like?" He said, "So out of a 1 to 100, what is your level?" I said, "No, I think I'm like a 50," you know, because I didn't know. And then he saw that I was a little bit. He put me in a heat with guys that were like 50, and then he saw I was a little bit faster. So he goes, "Okay, look, you're obviously a little bit faster than 50. I'm bumped you up to this heat, so you know I'm moved up to this heat with faster people." And that's where that's where you kind of finish. And
that's also a great thing about the UK tier system is if you go to a meeting, you're being ranked to heats by your tier. So if America had this system, imagine going to DNC and you don't need to be re-ranked. Or if you go to PMB, you don't need any re-ranks. You just you're there. The people who are there are same speed. So like seeding and stuff like that isn't as important.
Yeah, I think, but that would also require a functioning federation, which they do not have.
Yeah, but I think top 25 RC has the system, Live RC has the results. Now you need Roar to sort of regulate which races count. It doesn't have to be Roar races. It could be in California, it's JBRL.
Right.
In East Coast, it's some other series. You know, and it could be just local events, and you could have dropouts, whatever.
Yeah,
I think this could be very cool.
I like that idea. All right. Another question. I like this one. Zachary Williams, getting back into RC, only ever did touring. That was about 20 years ago with the TC4. So my question is as follows. Is the RB10 RTR a good track-worthy buggy to jump back into racing? I'm going to have to say this. I think that the RB10 class, that type of class, is one of the best options for a spec 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive class at any of these events.
Is that the AE buggy?
Yes, it's the rear motor AE buggy. Okay. It does have a gyro, but I think you can turn that off. But if there was a class and Losi made one of these as well, and it catered to that specific, everybody had to run stock, yes, then get this and go for this. But I think in today's standards on this clay racing that's around, and as well as now Astro and carpet becoming more popular with rear a rear a rear buggy motor, you will struggle. Like I would say, get
No,
yourself.
actually not. Actually no.
I
We had guys who ran on our Astro. All you need to do is you need to sort of just drive the car calmer because you don't have a
Mhm.
lot of corners like rotation. But they said they try different tires and you can make it absolutely drivable. The thing
Okay.
is, because it's rear motor, even if you put shitty tires on carpet, you can still drive it because there's so much rear grip.
Okay.
So
I
it's not actually that bad.
I cannot
You can make it
say
work everywhere.
okay, but I don't think it's plug and play. Plop it on and go. He'll be at a severe disadvantage against all these big stock class. Maybe if he
Oh
runs to novice class,
yeah.
maybe if
But
he
I
runs to
think
novice class, yes.
this is the type of platform. If Losi came out with one as well, perhaps like Yokomo, even like other brands who make
Mhm.
two-wheeler buggies, like this is the type of class that should be the stock class. Then there's the super stock, which is the now stock class.
Yeah, if this was a spec class, which I think it could be, it'd be great. But I don't know if you're going to be able to compete with the other guys out there, what they're running with this. So I
Oh no,
can't, and
no,
I do not know.
that's why you have the stock class, which is just this, and then which is now stock class would be super stock. You know.
Yes, but I do not know the quality of this car. I do not have one. I've never driven one. It's associated. I know it's good,
Yeah.
but I would love to see a spec class of this.
Yeah,
So I don't
I've
know.
heard only good things about the car.
Okay,
So.
there you go. Max would know. All right, so some Instagram questions, Max. And first up is from our good friend, David Bauman. He wants to know, will Max go to the Easter Bunny race? No idea what this is.
This race in southern Germany. It's in LA Speedway. It's a very nice track. They held a 40 plus years a few years back, and they've also held a lot of big races. We went there once for a race with Joseph, and I've been there practicing. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's in can't remember the town, but it's LA Speedway. Landshut,
Okay.
I think, the town.
All right.
But yeah, I'm not going this year, but it's a great place, and I'd be very happy to see all the people there again.
Sweet. Vivo 71. With the rising cost of racing and generally living, should companies come out with more budget friendly kits, some modern geometry, less high end materials like 6061 aluminum, less carbon fiber? Is there a place for kits like that in the market? I think if there was a class for this, yes. But I think
Actually, I disagree. I think there 100% is
you
because
think, but even with the cheaper materials,
I think because you can do like easy stuff like instead of aluminum radio trays and sensitive mounts, you put plastic ones on. Instead of having carbon fiber shock towers, you have um, aluminum shock towers or even plastic ones in 10 scale buggies for the rear. Like, and you could simplify the design, like have simpler hubs, like take away a lot of like
of adjustments.
yeah, adjustments because that's like extra drilling, so more money spent on the CNC. So yeah, it's I think this is possible, and I think there is a market for it. But the issue is that it's not really worth it to release two different platforms
And there's
because
not
there
enough
isn't.
people.
Yeah, because if there were twice the people, then you could easily release two different cars. But now, because there's so few people, you can barely make big enough production because the more stuff you make, the cheaper it is because you order from China, and the faster it comes because that's a number one priority for them if it's a huge order for out drives or whatever it is. So when you split that into two, it becomes more harder for the logistics to get everything done. So that's probably the biggest issue why that won't happen. But I think there is going to be a time where brands will start to release sort of factory kits and then sort of the regular kits because there's going to be things that will be so like for example the what's the Pro Star or whatever, the brake system.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like $200 on its own, and then you have to replace like the brakes of the car. So perhaps at some point the factory kits will come with that brake system. They will have more complex shocks, maybe like active diffs, like really expensive parts, and the regular kits will be more simplified. They will have the same geometry characteristics, but just less of the stuff you can adjust and perfect, and it'll be heavier. You won't have aluminum stuff on it, will have steel or whatever. Instead of the factory kit, it would be like aluminum turnbuckles and such, and it would be really light. I think there's a time where that is possible, but it's definitely not now.
I would have to agree there. All right. 1 second here. Where was my questions? All right, so we got some Discord questions here as well.
Yeah.
And one comes from #53Dom. He wants to know, how do you go about making a setup for a tire you've never run before?
I don't know if it's 10 scale or 8 scale.
Let's just assume it's 8 scale.
Yeah, for 8 scale, generally, I have a knowledge of how a certain type of tire would handle. Like if it's a big pin, I know it will be sticking the ruts a bit more, but it'll be overall better over dust, and it'll work on all sort of parts of the track pretty good. Small pin, need to keep it on the line. Much more forward drive, forgiving sideways. Then sort of zips, double down, whatever, like tight pin tire Amazonia. Those tires will always be very neutral. Like no matter what you do, it's neutral. Mostly much better on the line. So that's sort of in my head. I have an idea of what a certain type of thread will handle and how a different type of compound will handle. Like stiffer compounds are more edgy, but they allow you to have more drive. Softer compounds are less edgy, but the car has less feel. It sort of wiggles a bit. So these are this type of stuff I have just gathered like through the years of me driving. And I know that if I put this tire on, the car will handle this way. So sometimes you need to balance that out. And yeah, it's not something I sort of can say like, hey, if it's this, do this, because there's so many scenarios, so many different types of dirts. But yeah, oftentimes if I put bigger pin tires on, I like to make the car a bit lower, because I feel the car is a bit sort of hard to feel. But when I put smaller pin tires on, I raise the car a bit so that I can get sort of better feel of the car, because they're much more precise. And with these like Amazonia zips, double downs with tires like this, I oftentimes end up putting on less camber, so tires more stood up, because those tires you need to drive really, really carefully, because the edge of the grip is very narrow. So when you drive really carefully, you have less roll, and the tires need to be more stood up.
Cool.
Things like that are in my head, but it's not like if there's a certain scenario, I could be like, hey, you need to do this.
Right,
but that's
right.
what's worked for me, the setups I've run, and yeah.
All right. A next question from Kakalapaka. I guess he's from Norway or some Scandinavian country. Actually, it might be from Germany. Sorry. I think it's from Germany. He wants to know your thoughts on beadlock wheels, because I think they suck, and why we don't have them in 8-scale racing or racing.
Heavy.
And they aren't as easy as people think they are.
They are a pain in the ass to assemble still. But yeah, heavy, complex, expensive, still hard to assemble, and not much more reliable. A little bit more reliable, but not much more. Gluing is so much more simpler. You need less parts. People can do it themselves, and yeah, you just buy a bottle of glue and glue up a set. Gluing isn't perfect, but I don't think bead locks are any better really. And performance wise, I'll glue any day, because like bead locks are heavy.
Dude, let me tell you
You
something.
don't want to wait there.
5th scale on-road tires are probably the hardest tires you ever want to mount. Ever. I don't know if they're easy and all. They probably come pre-mounted. But those even are glued on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah. He also asks, I don't know if you're the guy for this because you have piss poor fuel mileage. He goes, I wanna know, how can you increase fuel mileage? Is it really earned on to driving style or tuning, or are there some other tricks to get a few extra seconds you might need? Yes, less oil in your fuel, less oil, less nitro content. Making sure your car is smooth, like completely smooth, no hiccups. I think guys limit their throttle to event. Like people will put a Venturi on in their car, but still have it open wide on the bottom of the carb. Tune your carb opening to that Venturi, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it really comes down to the tune and how you drive. You know what I mean? Just like anything else, you have to go into conservative mode and conserve fuel. I watched Ryan Mayfield do it now twice, you know?
Yeah.
So
It's basically so the big number one thing is tuning. So you want to tune it so that the top isn't rich at all. So the top needs to be quite lean. The bottom isn't that important, but it's important too. But sort of you need to find a balance where it's lean enough, where it doesn't have any of like smoke when you throttle and that when it's like high speed. But then when you lift, it doesn't run on, or if it runs on just a tiny bit. What I managed to find at least for 25% fuel, I put in a P4 plug, and you can tune the top end harder or leaner, so harder. So that way it doesn't have that sort of high idle because it has the P4 plug. So I can overall tune the engine leaner, and then I don't have to use as much throttle, and the idle stays good. So that's one of my number one tips I found. Number two, thanks to me running the engine really lean, I had a lot of power because it's the Longstrode OS engine. They have a lot of power. So what I did was trying to sort of find ways to reduce that. I went to a heavier flywheel, which is probably not ideal for fuel mileage, but it helped me drive it. And also, I went to sort of, because I always tuned my throttle to open right at the edge of the Venturi, just like Keenan explained there, which is the correct way to do it. But I ended up dropping my EPA down, my dual rate down. So I only opened it to 90%. So the engine is really lean, and even though I put full throttle, it's not actual full throttle. So that just helped me to sort of use more of the throttle and get sort of less, so I can run the engine lean. Those have been the number one things for me, and like nowadays I do get pretty good mileage. It's not bad at all.
cool. Yeah, you at one point you was getting really
Yeah, I don't
really
know.
bad.
I think it was the fuel at that time, and yeah, we were running P3s at that time. The P4 was much better. That helped me a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, I had issues before with fuel.
Sorry,
It's weird
just
because when I was like super young, I had like fucking amazing fuel mileage. I run 10 minutes almost every time.
you had like a year there where you had the crappiest fuel mileage ever.
Yeah.
That was actually some good questions though. We have two more. Kel Racing, he wants to know, when and how do you tune using chassis braces? Obviously, I know it's not the first line wholesale change, but when would you adjust for chassis flex? I don't see that option much now in cars. Do you?
There is. A has it, X-Ray has it. I don't know if Mugen has it, but Davide Ongaro used to do it so that he would drill out the hole with a 5mm drill, or a 6, I can't remember exactly, but much bigger than the 3mm screw. Then he put fuel tubing in there, and then the screw through. And then he ran the long chassis brace on his AE. So that gave him more flex in the rear, sideways, but lengthways the flex was still similar. So that was his way of doing it. That gives you more sort of
like a shock,
forgiving rear end. rear end feels like you can slide it around a bit more. Just you don't have to worry about bumps as much. I ran actually just the short one. I didn't do the Ongaro setup where I drilled it, but I ran the short one, and I seem to enjoy that the best. It's it allows the car to sort of get more stuff wrong and still forgive. That's basically shorter chassis braces allows you to get forgiven by sort of little bumps and all of that. But then uh, when you would want more, or actually less chassis flexes, if you have a lot of jumps, if you have high grip, you'd want less chassis flex. Sometimes depends like where you need it. And if it's super smooth, you do get a bit more drive, I feel, with a stiffer chassis.
Well, I remember back in the day when I was into this, it was like put aluminum chassis braces on and make your car as strong as possible. We didn't think about flex. And then, then you wonder why your car on a rough track, it's like bouncing on it. I mean, even look at the TTR, like the Thunder Tiger that Saxton designed with a tunnel chassis, complete, no flex. No, maybe that chassis would work good on some of these high bike tracks now.
Yeah.
But back then with those rough tracks, like we was counteracting. Well, it was still learning. Now, we just wanted the car to be strong. So yeah, there's definitely, there's some people that may remove a chassis brace as well.
Yeah.
So I think I would say maybe chassis braces are a tuning option when you have a bunch of traction or when you have a very loose track and you're looking for traction. There's two options when you would use
but
it.
I mean,
the only two
this guy asked like what type of setup option. It's not really a setup option. It's something like you have the setup closed, but you want something, and then you put it on.
Yeah, like a tinkerer. You would have to be a tinkerer.
It's not like you go to the track and are like, oh, my rear end's feeling a bit this way. Oh, I'll try the chassis brace. It's not like that. Like when you try springs, the car changes, it handles differently, it has a different configuration. The chassis brace is just a very, very tiny bit of it, but you can definitely feel the difference on it. It's kind of saying like adding extra weights, but adding extra weights is like, it's a band-aid option. But this one isn't as bad, but it's still not like a setup option.
Right, I know what you mean. You should be worrying about getting your setup right instead of removing a chassis brace. Like chassis brace should be the last, and I don't know if it's just,
It should be one of the last things you do before you're fine with your setup.
Exactly. All right, so we have one more question, and this is a good one. He wants to know his name, Bisac, I don't know, Bisac. He wants to know, how do we fix the lack of tracks and existing ones closing?
Where is this? In America?
I'm just going to use a generalization right now because all tracks pretty much close for the same reason that I know of. Lack of people.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use North Carolina, South Carolina, that area as an example because I've traveled extensively around there. I know a good bit about that area. You have too as well, Max. Mm-hmm. So I think at one point, Mike Hill and I counted 22 tracks within a 3 to 4 hour driving distance of Charlotte, North Carolina. To support not even, I see it. It's just too, like we think we're going to build more tracks. We're going to get more people. No. We're putting the cart before the horse, or whatever that saying is. People think like, oh, they build tracks and people will come. Man, people just don't know. Like, I laugh when I hear people like, I have to drive 2 hours to I have no track. I have no fucking track. None. I've watched RC die her twice. We have the people. We have 30 guys that want to race. But I watched RC die twice her. I've watched people in North Carolina build a track because they think and like certain areas like, oh, I can build a track. They get pissed off at a track owner because he doesn't do something that they like or what they suggest. So they're like, I'm going to go build a track. That's, within that same radius of that track, where it will pick up the same people. And that just hurts everybody. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, then you have these tracks fighting over when there's a good weekend to have a race. It's so much putting, like, you know what I mean? So you got all these tracks fighting. It's just a smaller version of what's actually going on in the industry. So in the industry, you have all these, let's use chassis man. You have all these chassis manufacturers who are trying to impress and pillage from a pool that's so small. Well, it's the same thing in tracks. So you have all these tracks in some areas that are flooded with tracks, and then there's not enough people to support them. So they all suffer at the end of the day. They all suffer. So we need to stop focusing on getting more tracks just because we don't want to drive 2 hours to a track. And the focus should be on, we need to get more people. Because and then when you have more people, then more tracks come. But to have so many tracks, like, look, South Carolina, look at Southern California right now. So you have Revelation, Thunder Alley, Paris. There's a couple more, fighting for some limelight there. Palm Desert. Then you have like, they have a good bit of tracks there, and they have a healthy hot rods as well, but that has its own group of people. So yeah, man, it can be a thing as too many tracks, and they have to close because there's just not enough people to support them.
Yeah, I think
that's at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to.
That's the difference between European and American tracks, I think, because we don't really have an issue of tracks closing. We have an issue of people not racing, really.
Right.
Like, because America, there's a lot of people to race. Like, I mean, the DNC gets 1,000 entries, but then local levels suffer. Like, JBRL gets 200 entries, but then the club is barely surviving, So the issue in America, I think, is the fact that these are businesses, and businesses need to get money, put money into the business to make more money, and they need to keep it functioning and not going on the negative, really. And that's the difference between Europe and America, because if a business is not functioning, or it's just not profitable, or even trying to get like zero on the line, then that business has to close. But a club isn't like a business. Club exists as long as there are people who think of the club or act anything upon the club. It doesn't just close, or you don't need to end it, and someone else can always start it again. Whereas the business is much more bigger of a commitment, so they have to make the decision of closing. Because here we have a lot of times where some of the guys disappear. Like, there's a tiny club where I live in Lappeenranta. They had tracks a few years ago. They built them, and then like people disappeared. But now people are coming back again, and then you can continue on that old track because you didn't sell the property, because it's a club-owned property. You didn't sort of sell all your stuff because you closed the company. That all still exists because it's a club, not a business or someone else. So you don't have that sort of continuity in America, where if a track goes down, someone else takes it, and then they do their own thing about it. Like in Vegas, the track is still there, but no one can use it because it's not their business. If that was a club, that would never happen.
Yeah, and you know what, man? Owning a track, I've done it. I've built a track. I've been through it. Is, I say this, dude. I say a track is like having a second family. It takes your money, your time, your blood, your sacrifice, your tears, your sweat. It's a lot of fucking work. Like, let's be honest. A track is a lot of work. And when you're constantly fighting to get people to come to your track, and you're constantly battling other tracks for good days, it gets frustrating. I mean, some of these tracks are in people's yards, and so they don't have a lot of overhead per se. But yeah, it's just simplest thing. We are not putting any focus into getting promoting RC racing to the masses. And I'm not talking about getting it on TV or making it mainstream. I'm talking about getting it just in front of people. You know what I mean? Personally, and doing things like that. So we need to get more people in, and then the tracks can boom. Everybody can boom. Right now, so I said to Mark Santamaria at Silver State, and I said, Mark, if 1,000 of your subs got into RC racing hardcore in America tomorrow, it would change the racing industry. You know what I mean? I said if 10,000 people got into RC racing tomorrow because of your channel, RC racing would blow up more, you know, because then that would lead to more people. But even it's just small numbers of people. Like I know people out there are thinking like, wow, Ryan Mayfield's making $1 million a year. No, it's not. It's not. If it's making 100 plus a year, and that's decent, that's what it's making. You know what I mean? There's nobody here making $1 million a year. I mean, maybe no, maybe they might get some percentage of sales of product and stuff like that. They're getting a little more, but these companies are not, these chassis companies are not moving hundreds of units per quarter, hundreds of thousands of units per quarter. They're not. You know what I mean? They just ain't. It's just such a small need, and that just trickles all down to the tracks. Too many tracks, not enough people, fighting over good weekends. I mean, look at SMB. SMB just made a post the other day. Like, people were complaining because they're putting a race on top of Easley. I know SMB and Easley have worked before where they would have a race in the day and Easley have a race at night. But this is what SMB said. He goes, we have to race. If we don't collect some money, we close doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. These people have to pay bills and pay rent and all that stuff. And earning a track is not easy. So we need to get more people. We're all responsible for getting more people into our scene. Max, that's all of our questions for this week. We're going to go on. Now we're going on to the Tekno main interview, which is my recap with JQ Racing. JQ, sorry. Remember, everybody, Beach RC is a proud sponsor of the bench racing segment. You guys seem to like that. You ask quite a lot of questions. There is an affiliate link in the written description of this podcast. If you guys can use that, it helps us out. Or even if you are a Beach RC customer, just let them know that you heard them on the NNRC. And, you know, just give us some love. It helps us out. Max, I'm going to go talk to JQ. Then we're going to come back. We're going to finish up. We're going to give away. We're going to do our giveaway here for our second battery and do our little conclusion. So I'll see you in a bit.
Tekno RC. Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Tekno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Tekno Takeover.
And thank you to Tekno RC for their continued support. I'm greatly appreciative of the MT410 that I received, and I'm building it. I'm having fun with it. Thank you, Tekno. Go check them out at teknorc.com. Tell them you heard about them on the No Name RC podcast and get some product for them. So now we're going to go on to JQ talking about the Ebuggy Euros and his rant from there. Remember, teknorc.com for all your Tekno RC products. And thank you, Tekno, for all your support. Hey, JQ. So let me get this straight. We're going to talk about the Ebuggy Euros, you know, the European Ebuggy Championships. But I just have to get this off my chest before we go on any further. You are my vice host. Or actually, you are my vice host. Because now you've been dropped down to like, see, now he doesn't want to hear the truth. He just blocks me out. That's what JQ does. This is like whenever I'm being truthful with him and like arguing with him, he blocks me. That's what he does. That's what he does. But he's my vice host. There you are.
No, I am not, and we're gonna discuss that.
I know we are.
It's a made-up word. It doesn't exist.
It does.
Not for racing terms. No. You can be a vice president. You can't be a vice champion.
You can be a vice host as well, which you
No,
are.
you can't.
Yes, you are.
No,
You're
we'll cover this in a minute.
you're a host, but you're not on here all the time. So you're a vice host.
No, I'm a co-host.
Same thing.
Rotating co-host. Yeah.
Anyway, you know what? Also, another thing. Today, we was just looking at the pictures, but this week marks 5 years of us actually kind of meeting each other and working together now. Who
Yeah,
would've
exactly
thought?
5 years ago, I flew home from the DR.
Yeah.
Day.
And I remember saying, hey, so what happened with that job that you have for me? And he goes, yeah, I have a job for you, but I can't pay you. I'll never
Best
forget
move
those
I've ever
words.
done.
Excuse me?
Best move I've ever done.
Hey, I take that as a compliment. Thank you. So 5 years of this craziness. When I met you, I had a little bit more black in my beard, and it's going gray. But it's been fun, man. It's been a blast. I've had fun. We've traveled a lot.
Look where you are now.
I know, I'm in the studio building techno kits.
Are you living your dream?
Almost.
Look behind you. You have
Yes,
50 RC cars, 17 RC boats, 5 million action figures in a man cave in the DR.
I know. And I owe this all
To me!
to the people that tune in and listen to this podcast. Yes, you gave me the opportunity. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I think I'm the second person that's worked with you this long. I think Mao has worked with you longer.
I
But
haven't
I
even
kinda-
worked with myself this long.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm the only person that has been able to stand you for 5 years. Mind you, the last couple of years hasn't been too bad because kind of been doing this podcast stuff. But hey, let's keep the party going. It's been good. It's been a good 5 years. We have fun. We're going to Italy next month. It's gonna be all right. All right. And you know what, man? To everybody that I've met along this way, it wouldn't be possible without you guys. It's been 5 years of doing this. Started out with JQ Racing as the Latin America team manager or whatever. Then slowly filtering into the USA market. And now we're here and thousands of people listen to what we have to say on a weekly basis.
I'd also like to thank all the listeners and everyone that supported this podcast. Thanks for getting Lefty off my back.
This guy talks all this crap, but he loves when I'm around. Like literally, like he has somebody he can fuck off, somebody he can bounce ideas off, somebody he can go like completely mental.
Like, when I came over there, I got COVID just so I didn't have to be around you.
I know. Yes, this guy comes on vacation and gets COVID. But it's been a good 5 years, Jake. Here's to the next 5. Hopefully we stick around for 5 more years. We're planting the seeds. Things are starting to change a little bit. If you can.
Actually,
Things have changed.
You know what? If you think about it back then, if you think back to when we first started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then at that moment, we'll just say, hey, 5 years from now, you'll be basically full-time running a podcast, right? Traveling the world, going to races. And I'll have a car designed that Ronnefalk is racing. Now, if someone had said that back then, would you have believed them?
I would have believed the Ronnefalk part, but not this part.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Because this part kind of just came out of me going to you and saying, hey, you keep saying that you went to me, but I went to you and said, I want to do a podcast. And I want to talk about racing all around the world, not just in regions. And then you kind of like, once I said that to you, you wouldn't let me rest until I did it. So thank you. Thank you. Let's keep it going. It's been good. And yeah, just like everybody, that's all the love that we get. Like, you know what I mean? So I love it, man. I'm still having fun. I've been wrenching this week. You know, I'm going to start building my... Oh, yeah. I see guys are getting the prototype Ebuggies. What's up with that? When is mine going to show up?
You haven't ordered one.
Oh, that's all I have to do? Okay, thanks for telling me. I'll do that in a minute. But yeah, JQ, 5 years time. Like, yeah, things are going pretty good. Let's keep it going. Let's keep this ball rolling. Let's keep it going. But JQ, you went racing this weekend. You are an Ebuggy specialist, you know, so I knew you was looking forward to this race so much because Ebuggy is the future. And you're so focused on this. But you, Ronnefalk, and Adrian made the trip down to Slovakia for this is the first big off-road Euros we've had in 2 years. Let's get that straight. So this is the first, no coverage. They had coverage. Like Hudy Arena had one camera in the corner, but I don't really call that
coverage. That's
no coverage. Besides what you gave us. So thank you for that.
Yes, yeah.
Videos of
Build all
Runafout.
the mains.
Yeah,
All the mains.
Yeah, but of
Rome and
Runafout.
You see what's happening in the lead.
You do. Like the first one that I've seen so far. I haven't seen the other two, so thank you for doing that. I do appreciate it. You did a great job with your camera, with your phone, by the way. Good job.
What do you mean? I just filmed.
Yeah, but I know you took lots of pride in what you did. I know you. You're super focused up there. I've watched you film before.
Super focused. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about your trip, Don. How's traveling in Europe now? How did you get to Slovakia?
No issues.
Yeah.
COVID's restrictions are, unless you're a Facebook scientist and don't get vaccinated, that might cause issues. But if you're vaccinated, then it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, so you flew
no
down
test
to
required, nothing. Flew to Vienna, Austria, 2-hour drive into Slovakia. Yeah, everything was
Have
good.
you been to this track before?
Never been there. Never been to Hudy Arena.
Really? So this is your first time there. What's your impressions of the facility?
So when you kind of arrive there, you enter this small town, and then you turn onto this like residential street, and you're like, where the hell are we going? Like, there's no way there's anything here. Just high-rise buildings, like residential area. But yeah, then sure enough, you turn the corner and there's Hudy Arena. I would say that it's really impressive, almost luxury for RC standards. And I believe everyone would agree with me who has been there. It's really nice. You go in, they have sort of a lobby area and all their trophies and cars and plaques and all kinds of stuff there on show, and the ping pong table and pit space. And then there's the carpet on-road track, carpet off-road track in that same hall. We pitted upstairs where they also have a restaurant, and they have, real good food like spaghetti and pizza and all kinds of like real food also, and beer. So it's really super nice. But the confusing part was that everything was so great, but then the track was just a sort of 4-year-old dust bowl, it seemed.
Well,
which is kind of curious, I would say. Now, I don't mind, because I like it when it's a bit more off-road. And I didn't really have an issue with it. It's just it was a bit strange, because everything is so sort of next level in a way. But then the track itself is just like, it's almost discarded, like the redheaded stepchild. Like, just have to put up with this thing.
So did they make any changes from the Worlds?
Well, the layout was, modified. But
Okay.
I mean, the whole entire surface of the track is the same, like untouched. So it's all cracked up and broken and dusty and stuff. So that was a bit weird that they wouldn't go to the effort of sort of redoing it.
Yeah.
And on a whole, I don't know why exactly, but this was a European Championship, but it really didn't feel like it to me. Like, partly because there was no coverage, there was no interviews, there was no sort of no official. There was nothing to make it seem official and bigger than just a club race. So it kind of just felt like a club race, But then when you make it more official, like you have, for example, you have passes, and you have security, and you have an interviewing zone, and you have a media present, and there's good coverage that you can watch during the race, after the race, and just the sense of people being there and working on the event, that gives it that feeling of being more important than a bigger event, a spectacle, And now it just felt like a club race, to be honest. Very strange.
So just to retouch on a couple of those things. So I would say traction was the biggest problem at this race, like with the dusty conditions.
Maybe I wouldn't call it a problem. Like, it was loose. Yeah, fine. I don't think it's a problem. Maybe some people complained about that or disliked that, but for me it was no issue.
It looked like it was narrow lanes.
Yeah,
compared
it was
to
quite
normal.
narrow, and also at the back, it felt like a bit small and narrow for 8 scale, and at the back also, the wall was sort of the outside pipe, so there were some issues there with people
Hitting a wall.
hitting the wall. But
Did you hit the wall, Joseph?
Um,
I mean, I know you did
think I did.
mentally. I know you did mentally,
I
but
think
did you
I did hit
physically?
the wall. I
Yeah.
physically hit the wall.
Yeah, good. Also, what was it? Something else you said briefly. I agree. No interviews, no nothing like that. Why? I mean, this is an EFRA event. RC Racing TV is supposed to do all the EFRA events. Why weren't they at this one?
I don't know why, because I thought that RC Racing TV and Control were sort of the EFRA media partners. So why wouldn't they then cover this European Championship? I don't know. I don't know.
It's a shame because I would have liked to have seen more of it. You know what I mean? And it's been a long time since we've had this. So I thought maybe more focus would have maybe just didn't work out. Unfortunate. A lot of people wanted to watch it, but we got to watch what you produced, and we're happy about that. But it would have been great to have interviews, and especially in such a facility like this. Like this is on a bucket list place that I want to go one time.
The on-road track looks spectacular. That looks super nice. Like, it made me want to race on-road. So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Slovakia period? Is it like what you heard? Like, is it cheap to live there? Is things cheap and stuff like that? Or is it just like any other European country?
I think it's pretty cheap for European standards, I would say.
Okay.
I've never been there. I think I've been to Czech.
How much was a beer
Czech Republic
at the Hudy Arena?
I think 250.
That's not bad. How much is a beer at a bar in Finland?
Like 7.
Really? That's a big difference. What type of beer did they have, by the way?
So a local beers.
Okay. Did you like it?
Yeah. Oh, good.
It's always
we didn't go out really anywhere. We ate at our hotel restaurant. I can't remember what beers.
Why? Just is it dangerous or just didn't choose to go out?
No, is it dangerous?
I'm asking. I've never been there.
It's not Ukraine.
Okay.
No, it's fine. We just, races, you get up at 7 and go to the track, and then you're done at 5 or 6 or something, and you just go back and shower and eat and go to bed pretty much.
Hey, did your ESC work that you blew up prior to going there?
Yeah, it did.
Really? Smoky
I
smell
figured
and
out
everything.
what happened also. So those extra things you connect, whatever the hell those are called.
Capacitor banks.
Capacitors, yeah. I soldered it to the plus wire and to a motor cable instead of the minus. So that explains that fire.
And you're a smart dude. Like, you're teaching people how to fix stuff.
I don't know how I messed that up.
You've been racing electric for quite some time. You're a specialist. You messed it up.
I did.
Anyway, all right. So this was how long it started when? Tuesday?
This was the length of event that all these big events should be. So Friday was practice, Saturday qualifying, Sunday the mains. And I think everyone who's anyone was there. I think all the top guys were there. Can you think of anyone who was missing?
I think just no Lee Martin, no Neil Craig.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Lee Martin, Neil Craig. They were missing.
Was Berton there?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Running a Mugen. Well, Sankatin, he broke his leg playing football. So he wasn't there. But pretty much, yeah, all the big hitters, all the young up-and-comers, they were all there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a really good race. The level of racing was really high. The results in each qualifying round, like the best lap times of the guys, and also the sort of final overall time, super, super close.
Mm-hmm.
Like just people within a second. There was a bit of a separation. So in qualifying, Coelho was able to get onto that next lap. I think Olovsky did it. I think Ongaro did it. But there was that separation. So like first place, maybe second place was a bit ahead, and then after that it was just super close with everyone. So even where I was sort of 20, I can't remember
finished
my
like
round
29th.
scores now, like 20, around 25 to 30, where I finished in each qualifying round. Like even there, the differences were so small, like just one mistake, erase that mistake, and it could have been a 17th, instead of a 30th. So yeah, a lot. And actually one good thing there, I saw quite a few young drivers,
Okay.
and also quite a few young fast drivers from Poland, Slovakia, Austria, I think. Also that, like, these countries and drivers that you don't normally maybe hear about, but yeah, they were there, they showed up, and they were fast.
Good. Excellent.
So that's
Excellent.
good. Yeah,
It was a good look at what's going on in the European scene. I mean, you've been to IBC, you've now been to this. Mind you, it was Ebuggy, just Ebuggy, right? No other class. It was.
yeah. This is the second time in my life I've traveled to a race only to race Ebuggy.
Okay. Let's talk about Ronnefolk. He was fast in practice, mediocre in qualifying. What happened with him in qualifying?
Well, we already knew that even though he was fastest in practice, that we needed to find something, because he wasn't able to be consistent. I mean, he was able to put 3 laps together, but not 5 minutes. So the thing is that
actually, let's bring it up. Let's bring up his main while we're talking. Go ahead.
The Mayako car is really good in all conditions and easy and stable to drive. So for 99% of us, it's awesome. But for someone like Ronnefolk, he needs a very aggressive, responsive, well-turning car that he can drive his way, how he wants to drive it. And for that, he needs to spend more time at the track trying different setups. I've actually been sort of pleasantly surprised of how well he's been able to do on these very different tracks we've been to with very limited testing time. So DNC, we actually prepared well because we were there in America testing. So he won Ebuggy and he was 5th, or was he 5th? In Nitro? I can't. No, in Nitro.
5th in Nitro,
DNC.
sorry.
Yeah, so he had a terrible start, but then he sort of unlapped himself. And so DNC was good. And then Euro's warm-up, he was 3rd on the Saturday, but then missed the start and had an issue on Sunday. Still finished 6th. And now here, Ebuggy Euros finished 7th. But he had a DNF in his best main.
What did he say about his performance at all?
So these 3 tracks are completely different, but he was competitive at all of them. So what we now have to do is just find his sort of starting setup that he's comfortable with. So he's fast, but in this condition on this track, I feel that the car was too hard for him to drive, or he had to be too precise. Let's put it that way. He could cruise around the track fine, but when he wanted to push to get those extra tenths, that's when it got too hard to drive. Does that make sense? So
I actually saw this in this main.
Driven around the track at sort of 30 flat pace or 29.8. Okay, he could have driven around the track, but he wanted to do like 29.3 or 29.2. And when he wants to do that, gain those tenths to be the fastest guy, not just a 5th place guy, that's where we need to find the setup he wants to run. So we actually, even for the main, he changed his car and then changed it after the first main to the second main. And like throughout the race, we were just making changes, and often also 2 big changes, in my opinion. Like you need to have a more comfortable base that and then you just fine tune that. So you aren't changing how the whole car feels and then adapting to it. You sort of know how the car feels. You're confident and comfortable with it, and then you just fine tune. So hopefully now, once the weather is better, he gets to drive more in Sweden and we'll get it all figured out before the Nitro races.
Right. So I did watch this main, and I watched him, and he at times he was showing like he could catch these two guys who were in front, and then he would make a mistake, and I'd be like, oh man, what? And you could see what you exactly said is kind of what I thought. Like I was like, I'm looking at him, and I watched him in this race, and I'm like, you can see he wants to go fast. I also know how Ronald Fuck likes to drive. He likes to he wants to downgrade that jump perfectly every jump.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think that practice, yes, he was like fastest in pretty much every practice, I think. I mean, basically, like on the free ones when nothing counted, he usually had the fastest lap time, and then the 2 seeding rounds, he was fastest in both, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it looked like really good, but I knew
that was a mistake.
From the kind of mistakes he was making, I knew that even though he did the 3 laps, he can't do the 5 minutes, So we changed setups because of that. And then after qualifying, the thing was that he tended to make sort of one mistake each run. And that was just because of what I explained, like it was too critical on the limit. So then for the main, we made a change. And for this first main, I think we lowered the diff in the rear 1 mil, and then we lowered the rear arm also. So that changed the rear end, how the rear end would feel, like it was a lot softer.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what else we changed. But anyway, it was sort of a major change. So you could see even in the beginning of the main that he found the limit of the car and then adjusted and wouldn't push it to where it would go over the limit. Like earlier in the main, you saw when he accelerated onto the straight, it sort of squatted too much and he squirreled out, those kind of things. So he was just getting used to the car. So
okay,
I mean, all in all, still a good performance.
Yeah, I mean, you have I talked to the Viking this morning actually. He's like, yep, we're going to Redovan next week for the World's warm-up and then a week's worth of testing. I think that's what he needs as well. Nothing beats real time.
Yeah.
And like Canas and Coelho and these guys, they're racing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Canas is racing a lot. Like the Spanish national championships are going on. He's everywhere. But I have no doubts with the Viking. I was a little bit upset. After that practice, I thought like, yeah, this is going to be good. And I couldn't see no coverage, but now that I saw like this first race and like he just made a mistake just now, I see what you mean. But I have no doubt with the Viking. It's Ebuggy. But let's talk
the last time he drove Ebuggy was DNC. Let's put it that way. Like, do you think that Coelho hasn't practiced here?
But he was at the Ebuggy Euros. He was the warm-up for this race.
Yeah. What?
He was at the warm-up for this race.
Yeah, Coelho,
Orlowski. It was the weekend of
that's what I'm saying.
State.
Like, these guys have run Ebuggy and practiced Ebuggy. I think it's a bit too ambitious to just assume that you have a new car you raced one time in February and you just show up and
he didn't race Ebuggy at IBC.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he did actually.
Okay,
so he that's the last time he ran it.
All right,
but has he done a single practice day with Ebuggy? No.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't even think he did a practice day at DNC, did he?
No, not really.
Okay. All right.
The club race and DNC. So.
All right. So Ronald Falk didn't have a great weekend, but he's a true champion. He'll come back. And, we got the Worlds. We got RCGP, Worlds warm-up, RCGP, Euros, and then the Worlds coming. And then other RCGP. We're going to touch on RCGP a little bit in a bit. But let's talk about the other racers. So, all right. So let's talk about your winners of this. So your winners was Juan Carlos Canas. He got a 1. He won the first race, it looks like. Won the third race and got a 6. Bruno Coelho.
Second and third race.
Oh, okay. So is it second and third race? Not according to this.
Yes, it is.
It says 2-1, 3-1, 1. Yeah, you're right. It's weird.
Yeah, Canas was a curious case because he qualified 6th, so behind Ronde Falk actually. Ronde Falk was 5th. And first main, we didn't really get to see his speed, I guess, because of the whole. It was the incident earlier here in the video. Actually, if you go back in the video a bit.
Yeah, I think where they crashed in the middle there.
Where there's that big sort of drama pile.
Let me go back there.
It's
Go ahead, keep
because
talking.
what actually happened was, so Coelho was in the lead, then he crashed on his own. And then, yeah, it's going to come up here.
All right, go ahead till we see it.
Yeah, so it's coming up here. Then he hits Ongaro in the chicane and takes Ongaro out, but then he waits in a way where he blocks Canas, and then Ronnefalk and Berton are there, and then all cars are there, and they all go at the same time, and Canas gets the wrong end of the stick, actually tangles with David, and I think it's coming up right now.
No, it's next lap, I think. I saw it myself.
Did you just scroll somewhere?
No.
Something happened with the video.
All right, let's go
now
back.
Ronnefalk is... Oh, my God. Anyway, so Canas dropped to dead last there in the first main or something. So we didn't really see his speed in the first main. Maybe it was already good. I don't know. But second and third main, he was just on another level, it seemed. So, yeah, I didn't see that one coming, to be honest. But, yeah, hats off to him. He's been working hard, practicing, testing a lot. He's been really fast at the races in Spain. Beating Robert, he's sort of establishing himself as number one Spanish driver now. And
I would agree there.
This was his first European Championship, actually.
Congratulations to him.
So, yeah.
So this happened before Ronnefalk was in third, Joseph, you said?
No, after.
I think it's her. Let's see. Anywho. All right. Who else was fast? Her. So let's talk about Coelho and Orlowski. Orlowski was a big surprise, but he's been doing
go in order. So Canas was impressive, especially in the last two mains. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in any 8-scale class from here on out, I would say.
Really? Can he win the Worlds?
He can win the Worlds.
Really?
Yes. Especially with it being in Spain. He's familiar with that track and surface. Yes.
So you think
I'm
he's
sure
a big
a win like
win?
This also helps his confidence, which confidence is important.
So you think he's a big chance that he could win this year's Worlds?
Well, I don't know. Big chance. Can he win? Will I be surprised? Not at all.
Okay,
can.
that makes sense. All right,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Can Elliott Boots win? He can. Would I be surprised? Yes, I would be very surprised.
Would you be more surprised if Canas won or Boots won?
Boots, of course.
Okay.
What else has Boots done the last 4 years?
All right.
Right.
So Canas, let's just stay straight up. Like Canas is the number one SRX driver at the moment too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's being
Brings him the
obvious for a
first.
while.
Is this SRX first European Championship?
Actually, that's a good point. Maybe, but this is the whole thing. Like I said, it just feels like a club race. Like I don't know. It's just lacking something. You know, it didn't even cross my mind. Like, oh, this is the first Euros for this one.
Because you was too hyped up about Vice Champion.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Well, what was your thoughts on Bruno at this race then?
Yeah, so Bruno, very fast in practice and qualifying. He TQ'd fastest pace, I would say. Even in qualifying, I think like he had some mistakes also, but he was still like, there was no question, like he was the class of the field, I would say. And
so
going into the mains, I think I had the sneaky suspicion like he might just run away with it. Like I felt like it might be boring, you know. But the track got a bit more tricky for the mains, so it started breaking up a bit more. And even though they actually fixed it after, I was a bit disappointed. So they fixed the track, filled all the holes with concrete or whatever, and smoothed it out for the mains. But then still, during main day, it started breaking up in slightly different places. So the track got a bit tricky. And then I think just the fact that the track was so tricky, and when you're leading, you don't want to make a mistake, so you're a bit more conservative. And then when you're behind, you're pushing more, trying to catch. That sort of upped the pace. And what ended up happening was that he had a lot of pressure from behind, and then he would make a mistake from the lead. So he would pull up a bit of a lead and then make a mistake. So, and then he was in the pack, and then the race was on. So the racing was actually exciting, and it was good. So for him, I would say he had the speed, but then maybe his car was just too much to handle, too hard to drive. Maybe the pressure got to him. I don't know. He had everything he needed to win, but he wasn't able to seal the deal.
What are your thoughts on Bruno as an 8-scale driver? Is he a threat at the Euros and Worlds this year?
Yes, he's a threat, but if I actually said this also to David and Adrian on the drive back, that looking at it, I think that the reason why Canas won and not Bruno is because Bruno does everything and Canas is 8-scale only. So Canas is like fully focused on just 8-scale off-road. He knows it. He's confident. He's comfortable. He doesn't make those mistakes in those moments, right? Bruno doesn't. He's racing touring car and he's doing this, doing that, 10-scale carpet. And then he switches over to an 8-scale off-road for a bit, for some big race. Like, you just can't reach that same level of brilliance under pressure when it counts. Maybe sometimes, but not as consistently, right? Especially if your car is a bit tricky or a bit off. And I think that was the difference. So just sort of preparation and focus going into this. Canas had more of that than Bruno.
Yeah. So Bruno,
that's what I think the difference is.
Yeah, a jack of all trades, a master of none. So he's good.
Well,
I think
that,
he's
Bruno,
a master at a few.
Yeah. He's jack of all trades, master of them all, kind of. Let's put it that way, right? Because he is like, he's European champion in 8-scale nitro, and he's world champion in touring car and 10-scale off-road on carpet. Like, yes, he's great, but there is a difference. You know, when someone like Canas, who is focusing on 8-scale, starts in 6th place and wins the thing, then you have to look in the mirror, right? If you're on pole at your home track being your brand owns the damn building, you've raced there a billion times and billion laps, I'm sure. Bayer has been there testing for months, I bet you anything, to perfect the setup. And you don't pull it off, you have to look in the mirror. And
yeah, he had all.
If I imagine I'm him and I look in the mirror, that's what I see. Not the same level of dedication and preparation, because it's impossible, because he's doing all the classes, not just this. And Canas is doing just this. That's what I think the difference was.
Well, I think that Coelho is also the type of driver, if that he focuses on 8-scale from now on to the Worlds, that's it. Like, I know he can't because he has to do other things, but if he focused on just that,
he would be better, right?
He would be.
That's it. Like, that was the difference at this race, I think. So,
but he had all the everything going. He had everything that you could go good for him, going for him. Home track, like building his he's been here a million times. You know, he should have won this. Yeah. From pole. But he didn't. And I think that's because of what you said, because he's just like, he's got his hand, he's spread too thin as well, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So
Orlovsky.
Yeah, let's talk about the Punisher. A lot of people surprised, not so surprised. He was at the warm-up too. He's done pretty good on Ebuggy. Hold on. An ad. He's done pretty good with Ebuggy. What was he running? A Mugen at this race?
Yeah, Mugen.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Orlovsky? Is he gonna do Nitro Euros and stuff, you think? Or just
I don't know if he's doing Nitro. I think maybe on the electric. Yeah, he
did
good.
Nitro last year though. He did some Nitro racing last year.
Nothing big, I think. Yeah, I think Orlovsky was good, but He was like slightly behind the very top guys. But also, I mean, he won the first main. Yes, there was all that drama, but yeah, so he's a former European champion in 10 scale and on-road 12 scale, I think, also. And yeah, he's a great driver. Of course, he can do good at this also. I mean, I wasn't surprised to see him up there.
Mhm. All right, we'll see. I know the Schumacher people are excited. It was a straight up Mugen, nothing different on it whatsoever.
I think they made some parts. Maybe I saw he had like silver arm holders, so maybe something there, some differences there.
Yeah. Okay. But you don't see you're just not too impressed with him, or what's up? Like your thoughts on him?
No, I mean he was fine. He was fast. Podium. Won one of the mains. So I mean, what else is there to say, really?
Ongaro, probably one of the favorites going into win this. Finishes 4th. Probably not what he wanted after the IBC race. Because he doesn't have a European 8-scale European championship at all, does he? Ongaro.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He has he got 3-3 and then broke some electronic issue in the last main.
What's your thoughts on Ongaro at this moment?
I think he's a very strong contender for both the Euros and the Worlds in Nitro.
Really? No, nothing from this race makes you doubt that at all.
No.
Same Ongaro.
Kind of. How can I put this? So this race, when you look at the results, I think that, okay, so Coelho starting first and being up there and being sort of in the mix for the win. Okay, he's there. Kanas, very impressive to get in that mix every time and then win. Okay, so those two sort of separated themselves a bit, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Then everyone else had good speed. You can look at Olovsky, Ongaro, Ivan, Joao. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
And was there still someone else?
Joao Elliott
Olovsky
finished 6th.
Okay, yeah. So Joao, Olovsky, Ongaro. You can look at them and you can imagine a world where they had won this race. Okay?
Okay.
But they just made a mistake at the wrong time. Or 2 mistakes, or something happened, so they just lacked a bit, right? They had the speed, but then something went wrong. So Ongaro Olovsky is in that box, Ongaro is in that box, Joao is in that box, I would say.
Okay.
So they could have just as well finished second. If things had gone their way, maybe they would have won even, So the fact that Ongaro finished 4th now, he might as well have been second, how he was driving. So that's what I think.
Y'all Figueiredo was fast. He's been fast in Ebuggy for quite some time now. Yeah. Fastest Kyosho there. Savoya didn't make the main. He was in the B. What's up with that? How's Joao looking? Is he about to take the mantle over as Kyosho's #1 driver in Europe?
Joao surprised me a bit because he is so punched and so aggressive, and this track you really couldn't be. But somehow he was, but he was a sort of slightly toned down punched and aggressive, and he was very consistent in qualifying. He's always up there. So I thought that he would podium.
Okay.
Like, definitely podium. But then sort of things went wrong. Like I don't know, some bad preparation or something. Kyosho has the saddle pack batteries and connected by this jumper wire then, and that had gone into the outdrive and chewed itself. broken or something. At the back there, actually, he jumped into the face of the triple, and that's why it shut off in one of the mains. So, and then also when he was even leading mains at times, he would make mistakes, or then in one of them, he was leading and going into that hairpin at the left. Bruno winged him, so then they were stuck. Bruno was under his wing. You know, these kind of things. Like some of them, his own fault for making a mistake. Some of them tagged by another driver. Okay, sort of racing incident, bad luck. Like he couldn't avoid that. And then some just maybe could have prepared some stuff a bit better. Like if you have a wire tube broken, like that's on you. I'm sorry, but it is. So just a mix of things. But I was really sure by how consistently fast he was, I thought he would podium.
Okay. Let's talk about Boots real quick. He pipped in the last main. I knew something that happened Ronafal because I think he was in third, and then he finished 8th. Boots kind of just like inherited this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Boots was like Boots and all the rest, you know, like all the other guys. I mean, even Ronnefalk in there, like they didn't really have a chance of winning. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Let's some
with making mistakes, and then his best run, which was the last main, he was in third, would have finished third. He actually ran out of battery just coming onto the front straight. So that was a shame.
Martin Beyer.
That last main, a lot of people had issues.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you just look like Betton was out, Ongaro out, then David out. I think 5 cars didn't finish the last main.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Yeah.
What about Martin Beyer? Does he make this main anytime? Does Martin Beyer make the final at the Worlds? No. At the Euros, sorry.
No.
Okay.
So he made the main, yes, and he was very impressive in practice. He was fast in qualifying, made some mistakes. Here he is actually.
Yeah, that was pretty fast.
I don't know why his level dropped so much during the race. I have no explanation for it. Like, he should have been there. He should have been up there more, I think. I don't know why he wasn't.
All right. Let's touch on these couple of guys, then we finish off the main. Bort Killick, Johnny Skidmore, Ricardo Berton, Marco Barufalo, and Robert Battier was your LCQ because there were no bump ups. So Battier had a bump in for the LCQ.
Yeah. So Skidmore first Euros A main, so good job on that.
Yes.
Now he can't race RC2 at RCGP. I think
his brother can though.
Yeah. And so the best race maybe of that event was that B main LCQ. I was marshalling, so I couldn't film. I almost filmed the last lap, but I thought, better not.
Yeah.
But I was actually in the best marshalling spot for what happened, because last lap, the Polish kid, forget his name, he was leading and Robert was second, right? And Robert made a slight mistake at the back or somewhere, so the Polish kid got a bit of a lead. I was like, it's over, you know? But then Robert sent it from that lower concrete hairpin, driving up that sweeper. They're coming up to it now here. This sweeper, and then into the chicane here, through the chicane. He fucking sent it, right? Perfect line. There was a gap of 1 Mugen on the inside, right? After that double. And he just landed it and sent it to the inside in that gap of 1 Mugen, right? It was incredible, right? And then he just passed that Polish kid before that quad. Then he quadded ahead of the guy and finished and won the race.
Well done.
Those kind of moves are when you know, like, yep, well, that's why he's world champion. You know?
Yeah, I think
because to be able to do that, like on the last lap under pressure, just a perfect send it through the chicane and still pass clean and all that stuff. Man, it was crazy.
Man, we missed all of that.
Yeah,
I like LCQs though. LCQs bring that out in people.
Great.
That's why I like them.
Yeah,
but I didn't get the no bumps. I didn't like that. That sucked.
Yeah, I know it did. So we on the Sunday we all had a practice run and then 3 mains. So why the hell couldn't every single practice run be a bump? EFRA's so fucking stupid. Like, oh, we'll only make the B main a last. What the hell? Make every single lower main do the same fucking thing. Bump 1 or something, right?
Yeah,
then every race is interesting. It's not just a practice for the D main. I hate being in the D main. No, it's a fucking D main race.
Yeah.
Win that shit and bump up, you know?
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Oh, God.
What about Barufalo, dude? Barufalo having a little struggles here.
Just a waste of space as the rest of the 7 guys that we mentioned in the main.
Jesus,
like,
man. Can you be any more vicious than that?
I mean, let's face it. Yeah, it was fast and amazingly whipping all over the place, right?
He did look good.
Yeah, but not a threat for the top guys.
I think my biggest surprise not being in 8 is Barkan. I know he was a bit upset about that. I talked to him. He would want to be there. I think he's the only guy, and maybe Renault Savoia maybe should have been there, but I think Barkan's the only guy that I would say.
You say Savoia should have been there because it's Savoia. But
yeah, I do. I do. But I think Barkan should have been there as well. But I think he was, I don't know. He said his dad got sick and he missed the qualifying. I missed the term marshalling. He got docked to qualify. Look at Adrian.
Yeah.
And I saw this part of the
He still wouldn't have made it. He still wouldn't have made it even without that.
Really?
Yeah. Without losing his best.
Yeah, he said he fell asleep in his car and he forgot all about it. So unfortunate for Barkan. I like Barkan a lot. But and the Boroks, I'm sorry, the Killex kind of just were a non-factor at this race. Anyway, but any drama, but he did win the junior final.
Burak wasn't a non-factor in the last main.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Main 3. Yeah, you'll see.
So
you'll see.
Another
interesting point from this race was the fact that 11 out of 13 drivers ran hot race.
Yeah. So is that what Ronafog went on?
Maybe like 7 of them were sponsored by Hot Race, and the rest.
Well, I mean, Canassa's T Pro, and he was Hot Race. He was on Hot Race.
Yeah.
How can they do that? Does T Pro doesn't have tires?
Changing, I guess.
So, Barry Baker actually asked me that too, because he said he actually agrees with you 100% on your rant.
Which was that?
And he, about Vice Champion, but he asked, how does people like Juan Canas, who has T Pro plastered all over his car, run Hot Race? And I explained to him that like T Pro is developing tires, and that's the excuse that they use. Any other drama out of this before we go on? Anything else that you learned? Did they have a banquet at the end? You know, I know what was
a banquet, I think.
Really?
Just left. Yeah. I mean, prize giving on the track, but nothing special.
Yeah, it was like this wasn't Euros. I could see what you mean. Like there was no.
Yeah, there was some
pizzazz. Yeah, nothing. Nothing going on. Nothing going on.
Okay, time to move on to the important stuff now.
All right, so hold on. Do we want to close this up and make this an official JQ Racing Rant?
Look, just bring up the fucking picture and let's go.
All right, so JQ's been waiting all this time for this, right? You know, if you haven't watched his IG, this guy went mental. You know what? I knew you was truly happy. Truly, you was truly happy because you was complaining about something, and that's when you're truly happy, is when you're passionate and complaining. And then he messages me and goes, "The rant is going to be fucking passionate this week," and I was like, "Ooh, awesome!" So, you know what? We haven't dropped it for a while. Let's do that. We're going into the JQ Racing Rant. Even though JQ Racing doesn't exist, we're going to call this the JQSM Rant.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
Alrighty then. It is time for the JQ Racing Rant. And JQ has been ranting. I mean, you was super hyper yesterday. You're super excited. You made videos like, look, it's the sun is shining and this and that. And I decided to answer and make my own video. You were really triggered over this. Like really, really triggered over this.
I was triggered, to be honest.
So if you haven't, I tell you this before we go on any further, the views and thoughts expressed in this segment by JQ do not necessarily represent the views and thoughts of the NNRC. This is his rant. He was on IG making all of your stories was off the hook yesterday. You was flustered. You was flustered, dude.
Yeah.
But as a Vice host, why don't you just go? Like,
I'm looking for something. I just remembered something. So,
can I say the definition of Vice Champion real quick?
Okay, what is it?
Okay, so according to Word Sense, Vice Champion, English, origin and history, Vice plus champion, noun, Vice Champion, Vice Champions. The competitor who finishes second or runner up.
Yeah, but it's a translation from French, right?
It doesn't say that, but
yeah, it's not a real. No one uses it in English. Like,
Europeans
it's just a translation in French. I guess they have it. What's France? Okay, what's France famous for? Right? Croissants, being rude to foreigners, kissing each other, and surrendering. So of course, yeah.
Oh my God!
Of course, they'll have something like, okay, you got second. Let's call you a vice champion. You know.
Okay. Can I remove this now?
Okay. Sure. They might have something like that, but just because French language has it doesn't mean that it's a universally accepted concept. You didn't win. You got second, right? You win first place, you lose, and you get second. That's not a championship. So this is my thing. Like, what I was looking for just now was this blog I wrote once. So X-Ray is all about the luxury and optimize this and that. That's fine, okay? Mm-hmm. But fucking, can you not overdo it with that optimized shit? Especially if you have just blatantly copied someone else, okay? So this was one of my original issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you make something and you just copied someone else, don't then say that you've made a billion prototypes and tested and optimized it and all that, because it's bullshit, okay? You just copied someone else, okay? So if you then actually develop something and make something and then you say it's optimized, fine. But when everything is freaking optimized, it loses the value of the word. So I wrote this blog. I wrote this blog where I just made fun of their press releases. And I swear they stopped using optimized. Okay? I don't know if it's got back into their vocabulary now, but I swear back then when I was writing my blog, after that, they stopped using it. Okay? So that was great. That was a small victory. But this vice champion thing, it triggered me. I'll be honest.
It did.
I've seen it a lot. But this was it. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay?
It really did.
So the problem is this sort of unwarranted
celebration for being second.
What word did I use? Self-aggrandizing. Is that the word I'm looking for?
No, it's not a word, but
I used it earlier. I'm drawing.
No, you didn't. But I get what you're saying. Like basically bigging yourself, putting yourself on a pedestal next to. So for me, this seems like okay, yeah. I get what you mean. Like congratulating yourself for coming second.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Self-aggrandizing. Yeah, that's how it is. So. Just like everything is luxury. I mean, they have luxury toilets and showers at the Hudy facility. Okay, that's great. You have luxury toilets. Other places just have normal toilets. You have luxury toilets. We'll let that slide, okay? Everything's optimized. Okay, we let that slide. You copy someone and claim it as your own. Okay, now you're beginning to annoy me. Someone deservedly wins a European Championship, beats your star driver on your home track, and you go online making it seem like you just won. I won the Vice Championship. No, you didn't. You fucking lost. Kanai beat your ass. I mean, not Kanai. Kanas. Kanai on my brain. Kanas
Always on your brain.
Beat your ass. Okay? He won. He is the
From
champion.
6th.
There is no Vice Championship.
I
so
agree.
are you telling me if Kanas now... I hope nothing like this happens, but let's say in some freak bullfighting accident he passes away. Does Bruno inherit the championship? Does he become European champion? No, he doesn't. It's not a fucking presidency. It's a race. We have presidents and vice presidents. That's accepted universally. We have that. In racing, we have champions and we have a bunch of losers. Okay? And then we rank the losers, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. You don't win 2nd place like a championship and celebrate it. Okay? Fuck. You can make a post say like, hey, I got 2nd at the Euros. I'm really happy, but man, Kanas was super fast. Hats off to him. He ran a great race. That's a good, great post to do.
Right.
Fucking plastering. We won the Vice Championship. X-Ray's the best. Go suck a dick. That's what I think about that. Seriously.
I don't think you'll be welcome at Hudy Arena anymore. This isn't the first company to do this.
To make matters worse, then we have the whole junior race fiasco. So Berkan Kilic is in the same B main as this Polish kid, okay? He wins that race. He gets a trophy that says 1st place junior. And then the same post has this Polish kid junior champion. How?
I don't know.
What the hell? How can he be junior champion if Berkan beats him and has the trophy that says 1st junior?
I asked Berkan this because he sent me a picture with him holding the trophy.
How is that possible?
And I'm like, well, how is it? The only thing I can think of is, we talked about this earlier, wasn't it a case when Max or somebody went to a race and there were 2 junior
that's
champions?
Nitro. Ongaro was in the main or semi-final or something, so he couldn't race the junior race. They did not have a separate junior race at this event. The highest placed junior won the junior championship.
Okay.
It just so happens that both top juniors were in the same race, the B main, which Berkan won. He didn't. Yeah, he actually did win the B main. So he won the B main and the junior championship.
If he would have, wasn't the B man an LCQ bump up?
Robert bumped from the LCQ. Then they ran triple B mains.
Oh, okay.
Berkan won 2, and then he won it.
So, okay. So X-Ray isn't the first person to use this vice champion stuff. I've seen it before.
No, but the problem is that I understand.
Can I talk?
People post it, but they fucking overdo it.
Yeah, I would agree there. It takes shine off what happened to Kanas, in my opinion. It was like, okay, so all right, now is my chance to get on you Europeans, because Europeans always complain about the Americans having too many classes and participation trophies and all that stuff, right? Which I agree on. It gets, there are a lot of participation trophies and too many classes. But that's just it. This can be fixed. I don't like the term vice champion. I agree. Okay, I just read it in English. I know they use it in Formula One. I know they do it. It takes. Now, if he tied by for when you say vice champion,
don't dig yourself a hole now.
No, listen. When you say vice champion, you're thinking somebody that's equal. You know what I mean? So if the president of America dies, the vice president gets power. You know what I mean? Or I just don't. In racing, how could that be? That's impossible. It's second.
It is.
It's second.
There was no coverage at this race. They had a
Hudy
photographer or whatever there, right?
They had
one imagine camera. You win the race. You win the race, then the Hudy photographer is over taking pictures of the vice champion for their press release. You just became European champion, right? And the focus is on the vice champion in the corner, getting some pictures. Like,
So that's what really triggered
you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
I get
just the attitude. It's like, it's just wrong.
So now we need to get rid of vice champion.
Definitely. Optimized vice champion. That's out the window. Whenever
I
you
haven't
see
seen-
anyone post anything on social media about vice champion, you get on that shit. You let them have it. We can eradicate this from RC racing. There's
I think
not
it has
gonna
to
be any
go.
more vice champions.
But they use it in Formula One,
What? For what?
like vice champion and stuff like that.
No, they
I've seen it
don't.
being used before.
Where have you seen that?
I
gonna
read it
Google
somewhere.
that right now.
Somebody, you just gotta Google it. Some people, a lot of Europeans were defending it. Oh, it's language and all this type of stuff. But
It's French language. We already covered that.
yeah, I don't know. I think it has to go. I don't like it, but it's been around for a long time. I just like that it triggered you, because when you get triggered, that's usually when like your best ideas and everything that you do comes out better. Like, you know what I mean? I'm surprised you haven't messaged me and been like, I have a plan.
It's a French word. That's it. Also,
So-
just to be clear, so just if someone says that there's some kind of misunderstanding about this junior thing, EFRA rulebook states the best driver under 16 years will also receive an EFRA award. Competition age for junior drivers will be determined by their age on the 1st of January of the year of the event. Okay, so if Berkan Kilic is standing on the podium with a first place junior trophy, then I believe he won that.
He still has it, so I believe he won that too. But maybe this other kid was the youngest driver.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe
I
they
think this
needed
whole fucking
someone else
Euros.
for their
You want my honest opinion? Oh, fuck it.
autograph.
I'm gonna get into the fucks right now. So fuck it. We let a lot of fucks go on the last fucking podcast. I'm gonna let some fucks go now because you're fucking
overdo
taking
it.
too long to get warmed up here. We need to eradicate vice champion, right? This whole fucking look. We give Dave shit about not having fucking coverage, and we give Joey about shit about not doing this. Well, you know what? The fucking European races have been a fucking letdown this year so far. A fucking
No
complete
shit.
and total letdown. Let me tell you.
IBC, no coverage.
Listen. No coverage. Shitty my RCM. The fucking absolutely shittiest software you ever want to use. Why can't we use Everlapse? Why can't we use fucking Live RC? We got to use fucking my RCM. Shit doesn't even fucking update on time, right?
No
No
and when
fucking
you
coverage.
try-
Thank God you was there with your fucking iPhone fucking 7 Plus and fucking making some video. Because if not, we wouldn't have saw anything of this. This is the first fucking Euros in 2 fucking years, and it was fucking dead. What the fuck, Europe? You're supposed to be so much better. You fucking had 3 big races this year, and you fucking dropped the ball on all 3. Fucking Montpellier, pfft, trash. Fucking IBC, a little better, but still pfft, not as great. This race, 0 coverage. Some fucking idiot with an iPhone 7. So what the fuck? We always give the Americans a lot of shit. They're fucking stepping up to the ball and they're getting coverage and all this type of stuff. And here we have the first fucking Euros and no coverage. Come on. Fuck.
We can do better. You got all fired up, Lefty. That's nice.
Yeah. Because it's true. Like, because I want to see this. Like, I don't want to wait fucking till Friday to see the last fucking main, JQ. I want to see it while it happens. You know?
Yeah.
This is European racing. We have some of the best people in the fucking world racing, and we had a fisheye camera.
Horrible.
Horrible. EFRA, come on. EFRA, let's go. Let's do better than this. Let's be the example. And get rid of vice champion. For fuck's sakes. And bumps. That fucking bumps. Like, it was so dumb. Like,
Yeah. Let's only bump the B main. Fuck all the other guys.
what the fuck? Like so dumb. Like, so dumb. Hey. I don't know what the fuck. You better get in there and start fixing that shit. Joseph.
Me? I have nothing to do with it.
We gotta terminate Vice Champion. That's gotta go. Like, I wouldn't even brag about that.
No.
I wouldn't even brag about that. But it does take some shine from Canas. And he fucking won that European Championships the hard way, and he fucking dominated. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to S-Works. And you know what? I can't wait for the World's warm-up, which is coming up soon. That's coming up next week, right?
Yeah.
And then we got RCGP. RCGP is going to be lit. We got Ongaro, Canas, Boots, Rana Falk, Zankatine. Who else?
Lee Martin.
I don't know the other kid that's racing. We have some fucking guy who said he wasn't going to race.
I think Valente, right?
Oh, they haven't announced those yet. So we're still waiting for Beach RC's team.
Sheriff will be out in force again.
I was hoping, I think I made a proposal. I think if Max beat you at these nationals this weekend, he should take your place.
He's done.
Why? Because he's got a girlfriend?
No, he's done from RCGP.
But if he beats you this weekend, I'm going to start the petition. I'm starting the petition.
Okay, you can start.
So RCGP is going to be pretty lit. I'm really excited for that. And yeah, I don't know. Vice Champion, dude. I think it's going to stay now just because you want it to go.
No.
But I do think X-Ray went a little bit overboard with it.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as being a gracious winner and a gracious loser. And if you're happy with second, then you're not, then, I'll be happy with second.
They won a Vice Championship. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to go. That's got to go. You got to go. You can't have that. But it's in the dictionary, so it works. I'm just glad that you got triggered.
Some language. It's translated from French. Okay.
Okay. Well, do you have anything else you want to rant about?
You only find seven links. What?
Anything else you want to rant about?
No, I think that was it for now.
Okay.
Anything else? You ranted about the coverage. That's fine.
Yeah, I ranted about the coverage. It was. I think I'm fully justified in my rant about the coverage. Maybe it just couldn't work out where the guys could get off time to do it, and maybe they had to sacrifice this race in order to do the other races, which I can understand that too.
EFRA has the money. If they wanted to, they could have spent it.
Yeah. I don't know.
They could have had coverage.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. Well, World's warm-up. I think...
also no coverage, by the way.
Yeah, no coverage. But it's a warm-up. I'm not... Maybe that's your... There you go. Maybe they get the dude from Spain to do the coverage of it.
Well, originally, the idea also for the pay-per-view thing was to
do these races.
Hopefully get people to subscribe, and then we would have had coverage for IBC, Euros warm-up, World's warm-up, like these races too.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Those subscriptions would pay for these races.
Right.
So there's 3 big races right now where we don't have coverage, where we could have if people just chipped in and spent $15 a month or whatever it is. So,
all right.
Hopefully it picks up and starts working, and next year we don't have to think about this stuff because there are subscribers and we have great coverage at all these races. Yes,
I agree. You know what? Before we sign out, we're going to do a quick hot laps because I know you like them. And you say we got to do it every time.
Yeah, that was funny.
So, yeah, best 3 words to describe this, and I'm going to say it. So here's our hot lap section. EFRA.
You can't start with that, okay? You can't. You just can't. It's not fair.
X-ray.
Okay, wait. Okay, well, you said EFRA, so I'm going to have to say something. Okay, I do still want EFRA to succeed. Okay, so
that's your 3 words. I still want EFRA to succeed.
I can't say. I have to say something like semi decent. So basically, always fail.
Okay. IFMAR.
Oldies Holiday Club.
Okay. Vice Champion.
Needs to go.
Hudy Arena.
Luxury except track.
No, that's good. That's good. X-ray.
X-ray.
Something you need of your brain, I would say. By the way.
What?
An X-ray. You need an X-ray of your brain.
X-ray of my brain.
Yeah.
X-ray.
This dude stumped.
I can only think of 4 words. Should be better.
Okay. Canas.
Becoming true contender.
Last 2, Ongaro and Ronafalk.
So Ongaro, watch out. Watch out. That's 2 words.
No, it's 1 word, I think.
That's 2.
We'll make it 1 word for you.
Watch. Watch out, everyone.
And Ronafalk?
Focus is worlds.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like the hot lap Saxon. I like it. I like it. You got to do one with me next time. You got to get some for me. And I want to have a try.
Some for you.
All right. Well, have fun at Redavon. We'll have you on after Redavon because I want to get. You're going to be there for a week, though, right?
No, not quite. I think fly out. Well, I guess so. I think I fly out on the Wednesday actually.
Okay.
And then I fly back on Wednesday too. So a week.
All right. Yeah, and then obviously we'll see each other here shortly because shit, it's near the end of May now. We about 3 more weeks we'll be in Italy. So that's gonna be fun. Thanks for your time, dude. I liked it. Vice champion, vice host, JQ. Thank you for your time. You know, I think we're gonna let you go now and let you focus on becoming a vice champion and getting rid of that and doing all that good stuff. Good luck at your nationals this weekend, even though I'm rooting for Max. And yeah, it's gonna be good to see. Have fun racing. Don't don't go into suicide watch and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, let's see if we have a race. Looks like rain.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for your time, dude. I'm gonna let you go, and I will talk to you next week after your nationals and before you go to Redavon.
Okay.
Oh, actually, Barry Baker's coming on next week too.
Oh, can I be on when he's on?
I mean, if you're gonna be up, sure. It's probably gonna be. We might be able to do it Monday when he's home. It's just like a holiday. But if not, it's gonna be like 5 o'clock California time, and you'll be. That's late for you.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he has plenty to say to you and Max. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll talk to you in a bit, dude. Thank you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hey, Max, did you know that our viewers can save some money and get some good tires? Did you know that? So we have Lugs.
I didn't, but that's amazing.
Yes. So check them out. Lugs Racing has over 55 years of combined RC experience. Lugs have been testing different treads, wheels, and rubber for peak performance. They have their Lugs Econ line of tires, which is developed with racing budgets in mind, high quality but lower cost. That means that savings can be passed on to you, the customer. Also, check out their performance line of tires. They have they've been made with Lugs custom molds and their proprietary rubber compound. I was talking to Bryce at Silver City. They have some new products coming out, 10 scale and 8 scale, truggy and buggy. So keep an eye on them. Tires are available in medium soft, super soft, and mega soft, as well as long wear. And I see people are getting their tires from our Christmas giveaway, which is great. Visit www.lugsracing.com. You can save up to 25% with the promo code NNRC Lugs. So go check out NNR lugs in the written description of this podcast. Go get yourself some tires. They sell them in sets of 4. And then, showing them some love. You save some money and you show that the NNRC is doing its job. So, Max, I kind of got into this with JQ. We was kind of recording as we recorded this. It's like, hey, it's been 5 years since we really met. And it's true. So we're in May, end of May 26th. I think this is the time that JQ came down here. And I kind of officially met him. And this started this crazy journey that I'm on, that we've been on, because you've been a part of this too. Yeah. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who I have met along this way. You know, I first started out as a team manager for Latin America and then graduated to America. And then we figured out, I can talk nonstop. So we do this now. And here I am 5 years later, 4 years into this podcast, almost 4 years into this podcast. And here we are. I have a studio. I have, I'm going to races again, which I'm super happy about. And I never thought this part would be there. Like, I never saw this in my future, but I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, what we're doing. I know we piss off some people. I know people get mad at us, but a lot of people do agree with us. And it's not been possible without the support of the thousands of people around the world that show us some love, show me personally some love every time I go to a race. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that's made the last 5 years possible to be involved in RC. It's had its ups, it's had its downs, it's had way more ups than downs. It's been emotional. And you know what? At times when I want to quit this stuff and want to go back to a normal life, because, we know RC doesn't pay well, but we make it happen. And I can't do that without the people that go on there, click, like, download, comment, share. I know sometimes we have boring episodes. Not every episode is a 10, and not every topic is something you may agree with us on, but you tune in, and none of this has been possible without you guys around the world. So thank you to everybody that has helped me along the way, showing me love, showing the podcast some love, showing you love, Max, everything. Thank you, Max, for your time and your effort into doing this. Thank you to JQ for giving me the opportunity to do this. Thank you to those behind the scenes that make this possible. I know they don't want their name said. And we can't do it without them as well. So it's not a one-man show here. There are a lot of people that have helped me get to this level and help the NNRC get to this level. Obviously, the people that listen and the patrons. I can't forget about them. Without them, they've made it where I can get RC stuff, or, I can get some, like, I kind of use that money as my play money. You know what I mean? My wife doesn't know about that. But I wouldn't say play money, but that's what, if I want something cool for the podcast and I want to buy it myself, I buy it. Or, these RC boats that I have, they're not cheap. And yeah, man, it's fucking amazing. And I'm super pumped about it. And every time I feel down, somebody would message me and then we get in a conversation about RC. And that's like, I say this all the time. I may not be rich in monetarily, but I am rich in relationships. And I truly am blessed to be able to do this for a living. So thank you, everybody, for making this happen. And to everybody that works behind the scenes, that has helped me get here. And obviously to all the sponsors that have been on for a long time as well. So thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Who would have thought 5 years of doing this, Max? Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Lasting JQ for 5 years. You know what? I've known JQ since 2010. That's now 12 years.
Yeah. I think I am besides Mao, I have worked with him the longest. I think. But when I say work, at one point, Joseph and I were inseparable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He cannot function without me properly. I know this. Like, as soon as I show up to race, he's so much more relaxed and excited. It's because he has somebody to tease and fucking bitch to. That's why. But it's been a great journey. It hasn't stopped. I've met some amazing people along this journey, and I continue to wish I meet amazing people every time I go to a race. I'm going to fucking Italy next month. You know, like if you would have told me that was going to happen, I mean, I would have wanted it to happen, but I'm going to do that. And I'm super excited about that. And man, I just thank you everybody for the love. We work hard. We do work hard at what we do because we're serious about what we do. But, and you know what? I think also that I see it when I go to races, the effect that we have on people as a podcast. I've literally had people message me and say, you, Max, JQ, you got me through COVID, or I was having a shitty day and you said this, or JQ's and you and JQ's antics said this, or Max is truly arrogant, but I like him. You know, and then I have to deal with the other side of things with people that get pissed off at us. And I'm just like, hey, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. So we have to break some eggs in the process. So congratulations to you. Congratulations, JQ. Big shout out and congratulations to all you people, the NNRC Squad patrons. Fuck, man. Love you guys like life. Can't do it. Keep sharing. Keep leaving reviews. We need you to leave reviews. We need you to share. Look, man, we need to get that YouTube up. That YouTube should be getting, like, it's a 2,239 subs. I should have 5,000 subs. No problem. No problem. Like, that should be not an issue, but it's hard. That's how I want you to thank me. Go to YouTube, hit that sub button. And you know what? We have a competition attached to YouTube and Facebook. So, thanks to our gracious new sponsor, Sun Paral USA, we're going to give away a 4S battery as well. So, if you listened earlier, you could win a 2S battery. Go listen to that. You're going to have to be quick on the draw. So what we're going to do here, because I think we're going to get quite a few, so this is going to be a competition that takes a couple of days. So what you have to do is you have to take this podcast on YouTube, share it to your personal page, tag the NNRC, and you have to tag Sundapal. I said it wrong. Sundapal USA on their Facebook page. Go give them a like. And also, you can share the podcast there and tag. That's probably the best way. Go to Sampadal. If you can do that, go to Sampadal USA, post the podcast there, or hit that like button. Max, you had this all figured out. You tell people how to do it.
Okay. So what you can do is take this YouTube, share the link to this YouTube podcast on your personal Facebook, and then tag San Padao and the No Name RC podcast on your post. And then after few days, people have shared this podcast on their Facebook and tag San Padao USA and us. We'll do a raffle of all the people who have done it. Mm-hmm. And then we'll raffle out the winner for the 4S battery.
And you have to be in Canada or America or have a U.S. mailing address, because this is for San Padal USA.
If you're European, you can share and do it too, but you just can't win the prize.
We'll figure it out some way, somehow. But anyway,
maybe we need to get San Padal Europe to sponsor us too.
We need a European. I really would like a European company. That way I can have shirts over there, decals, that stuff, and get them out to people. You know what, Max? Thank you for your time. Good luck this weekend. May the force be with you as you go against your Sith Lord, your Sith Master in JQ. Even though you vanquished him before, you have to now go vanquish him with his car and piss him off even more.
My best lap was 1.7 seconds faster yesterday than his best lap.
The guy is just in pure denial about his speed. Pure denial. Pure
He's
denial.
He's Mr. Grandpa.
Yes, definitely. JQ is grandpa. You know what? With that said, Max, good luck. Have fun. I'm glad you're racing this weekend. I'm going to do some RC this weekend. Everybody, remember the giveaways. Go check that out. You can win 2 batteries off this week's podcast. And go hit up San Patal. Shout out to all the NNRC squad around the world. Shout out to the patrons of the podcast. If you wish to be a patron, you know what? I would love to get 100 patrons. I think we're at 89.
Let's
so maybe when I get 100 patrons, Huh?
Do we have some juicy topic we two could do a Patreon episode from, and then people would join Patreon to listen to it?
I don't know, but we're gonna do a patron only pod. But I might think
Yeah.
we might do a giveaway on the Patreon
Yeah.
only. When we hit 100
Yeah.
patrons, so we got
We'll
11 more to
think-
go. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, me and Keenan will think of a very, very juicy, a good topic for next week, Patreon only pod.
Yes.
So you have time to sign up and listen to that.
There you go.
And we'll
There you
do.
go.
We have been doing Patreon only pods every other week, pretty much, and we do a lot of giveaways. So, and
Yeah.
it also, hey, like this guy lives in a third world country. He needs a bit of money. He's like,
You know
his
what?
house
People
gets
get
flooded,
upset when you say that.
and
People get
that-
upset when you say I live in a third world country. They say it's looking on, but it is a developing third world country. And we need to pay. This podcast needs to start paying all my bills here as well. So
and
that's the goal.
Okay, I don't mean that in looking down way. Obviously,
I know that. I know that.
I love all the countries, but yeah, you're like out of electricity every other day. Like, give the man an RC boat by helping him with Patreon. He has some fun in his life.
I have to. You know what, man? I am on a goal this year, this summer, to enjoy doing RC again. So I have been wrenching. I have missed it. It was good to build another kit for the first time in a long time.
Oh, you
We're gonna
built
build my
it?
Mayaka. Huh?
You built the Mayako?
No, I'm going to. I built the Tekno. I'm building the Tekno.
Yeah.
And I'm going to build the Mayako because I need to have the instructions here because I don't have them in print. And then I was going to get an Ebuggy. And Joe says, you just need to order one. And I went, well, do I just order one? And he goes, do you need an Ebuggy? I was like, I'll wait till the production ones come out.
That's so typical of him.
So typical of Joseph. I said, I'll wait till the production ones come out, you cheap bastard. I don't need it anyway. Maybe I'll build my Mayako and just bash it. Yeah. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. Put in an engine and just go bash it.
I got an
around.
engine. I got one of the new Ultimate
you
5
could, you could
M5s.
just like find a place with grass and then just drive around it until the grass goes out. That's what they do in UK. Like you used to do there.
That's
You
what
remember?
that's what we had to do in Bermuda. That's what we had to do in Bermuda. But anyway, you know what? We kind of dragged on to this conclusion.
But it was fun. You were like, I was like, I didn't want to even stop you. You were going like, oh, I'm so thankful of everyone. You
But
were,
I
like,
am.
getting
I don't think I
emotional.
say that enough.
Yeah.
I don't think I say that enough because without the people that follow and follow us and support us, none of this is at all possible.
Yeah.
So, you know, and 5 years of doing this, wow, like it's pretty amazing. Considering that JQ said he had a job and he couldn't pay me. But yeah, good stuff. Hey, check out the giveaways. Shout out to our sponsors of the podcast. Remember, everybody, showing the sponsors some love, shows the podcast some love. Invisible Speed, TZO 200 tires. We're going to do some giveaways of TZO here soon as well. Waiting for them to get their website up and going. High Tech RCD. Hit up High Tech, everybody. Let them know you heard from NNRC. TNR Fuels. I see Chris is still growing. Great to see. Mayako. JQ, I'm coming for my Ebuggy. Beach RC. Remember, use that affiliate link. Helps us out. Tekno RC. If you buy anything from Tekno, shout out the NNRC. Lugs Racing Tires. We got a coupon code for that. JQSM. Nothing for them. G-Spec RC Tuning. We got coupons for that. Papa Willis. We got a coupon for that. Racecraft. We got a coupon for that. Clinic RC. No coupon, but tell them you heard from the NNRC. RCGP. House of RC. The DRA Shop. JTP RC. Check out Chiba's new engine. Buy an engine from him. And of course, my good buddy RC Kevin. Max, it was good talking to you, man.
Yeah, it was good talk today.
Have a good weekend. Demolish. Yeah. Don't just beat Joseph. Decapitate him.
The race might get rained out though.
Fuck. Anyway, have fun, man. Have fun. Talk to you later.
You
See you later. Hey, you know what? Nitrous to Glory. Ebuggy pays the bills. Max the vice host, and Lefty, the host. We are out. Peace and chicken grease. We are out. Short outro. Where are you, short outro?